And how are they reacting to Germany's election?
Yeah, should we take a look at what's been happening at the European Open? They've been open about 15 minutes and it's pretty flat, actually. I suppose no great surprise that Angela Merkel won so convincingly there. That's how things are looking, most of them pretty flat. Meanwhile, in Asia, markets, a lot of them were on holiday for a lot of last week, so they're playing catch up. Today it's the Nikkei in Japan is closed. There you can see the Shanghai Composite, though. Some good news on Chinese manufacturing, helping to boost that by 1.3%.
Well, Matthew, now that the vote has wrapped up and we know Merkel's in for a third term, many countries now wondering what exactly the outcome means for the German approach to the Eurozone.
Yes, many countries interested, particularly Greece, for example, Portugal, countries that have had a bailout, and particularly keen to see whether there might perhaps be a softening in what they perceive as this very hard-line approach that Angela Merkel has had. Now, if she does indeed form a coalition with the centre-left Social Democrats, some may be thinking, well, perhaps we'll see a bit of an easing back, perhaps we'll see a bit more of a move towards growth, but they might be disappointed because, in fact, all the main parties in Germany have held to the Merkel line throughout the last few years, and even during the election campaign, it just wasn't a big issue because there wasn't a lot of disagreement about it. So we may see not many changes, at least when it comes to the Eurozone. There may be, however, some changes when it comes to the domestic economy because the SPD has campaigned hard to see a minimum wage in Germany. Germany, one of the few countries in Europe that doesn't have a national minimum wage. Well, Luke Schrago has been taking a look.
Eking out a living on the margins of German society, around a quarter of the population earn what's considered a low-income wage.
Because we have no minimum wage, these are people who are working almost for free. They work for €3.50 per hour or for €5 or €6. It's the lowest I've ever seen.
It stems from what are known as the Hartz reforms a decade ago. Meant to make a struggling German economy more competitive, they helped put people back to work by giving employers greater flexibility. The measures did work. Unemployment dropped from a peak of 5.2 million in 2005 to 2.9 million last year. However, it's come at a cost, with more people than ever in low-wage positions.
People would rather have a job than not work, and that preference exists because the real insecurity lies with not having a job.
Ahead of the elections, the centre-left Social Democratic Party had campaigned for a minimum wage of €8.50, a call repeated by other European nations in recent days. France said just last week that Germany had kept an unfair advantage over the rest of the continent by keeping salaries artificially low.
Well, we'll wait to see how this all plays out as they get into negotiations this week. But meanwhile, let's get some of the day's company news. And the Prime Minister of Finland has now added to criticism of a payoff to the boss of phone maker Nokia. Stephen Elop is due to get a €19 million payment. That follows the sale of the company's phone business to Microsoft for €5.4 billion. Well, the Prime Minister, Jyrki Katainen, called the payoff quite outrageous in a weekend TV interview.
Microsoft is expected to announce an updated version of its Surface tablet computer later this Monday. Sales of the Surface have disappointed so far. Research firm IDC says the company sold around 900,000 in the first quarter of the year. That compares to 34 million iPads sold by Apple.
And Britain's Daily Telegraph says that the steel company ArcelorMittal is under investigation here in France. It says that an investor group and several hedge funds have made claims of criminal conduct. They relate to Mittal Steel's purchase of Arcelor in 2006. Well, ArcelorMittal shares are pretty flat so far this Monday.
All right, Matthew, well, we started in Germany and we're going to end with a German theme. While the world has been watching these election results, in Brazil, they're mourning the loss of a German icon.
That's right. In Brazil, the Volkswagen has already announced, in fact, that it's going to start winding down production of this vehicle, the popular Kombi camper van. Now, it's really the end of an era for a vehicle that's been in constant production there since 1957 in various shapes and sizes, as we can see there. Well, fans of the camper van in Brazil have been talking of their fondness for the colourful, sometimes, vehicle.
The Kombi was part of my childhood. We've known it since we were kids, so we got really sad when we found out that production is stopping in Brazil.
It's charismatic, so you fall in love with it. You always want to be touching, to be driving, improving, and innovating it.
All right, Matthew, I have to be honest. I, too, am a little bit fond of that. My father took me cross-country when I was 8. He had a 1963, so...
Wow, painted many colours like that?
No, it was just white and rusted, but still,
Very
it got around, so. Matthew Warren with a look at the latest business news. Thank you for that. And it's time now for a look at the international press.